All right, I'm with UFC lightweight Beneil Dariush, who's here to corner Giga Chikadze. How's it been going so far in Manchester?
Manchester's been pretty cool. We're here at Manchester Central right now. I would say we're feeling brilliant.
And how's Giga looking? I had heard you say in an interview that when he's on, he's the best featherweight in the world.
Yeah, and I think he's on right now, man. He felt really good throughout the camp. Really happy with his progress, and actually, what I'm really impressed with is his weight cut. He's been dang near perfect.
And I see you wearing the Giga Kick t-shirt. Is that how you kind of envision him winning this fight?
Arnold Southpaw, so the style of kicks we have to use will be different. So maybe not the patent Giga kick, but there's going to be a lot of kicks for sure.
And let's talk about you a little bit. I heard you talking to the fans right now, talking about a meniscus problem. How's your health been? I know you've been taking some time off since those losses. So how's everything been?
Yeah, so just the timeline. I had the fight. I want to say December. I took about 2 months off, and then I started training. And then as I started to pick up my training, I want to say April, May, my meniscus just gave out, and it was weird because it wasn't like one of those things where I had a weird accident and it got worse. It was just one day it stopped clicking, or it stopped. It started to click and then lock. Super strange for me. Anyways, been working on that. Worked a lot of PT, but we've been trying to strengthen it. I'm trying to avoid surgery, but if I have to get surgery, we're gonna do surgery. But I'm gonna have a good idea of it in the next couple of weeks. If it's good, I'm gonna ask them to put me in and get a fight.
So when did this happen? Because I remember, and you've been doing some media lately, and you talked about wanting to get back to like full contact sparring by summer, which we're kind of in, or late summer.
Yeah.
So has that delayed the process?
Yeah, so my goal was actually to fight late summer, so maybe in like a month from now. Now, I think hopefully like end of the year, maybe like October, possibly November. That's more my goal now.
Well, a big lightweight fight going down this Saturday between Paddy Pimblett and Bobby Green, King Green, I
King
should say,
Green,
King Green.
King Green.
Excuse me. What do you think of that fight? Who do you think gets the job done?
I think I think if you look at the styles, it's uh, most people would say that Paddy needs to grapple, but I think his striking is quite underrated as well. I think he has more tools to win. That being said, uh, Bobby Green finds a way to win. I mean, he's won some fights that I didn't think he was going to win, and he pulled it off. So I think this could be a similar situation, and he does well under pressure. So this pressure could really work in his favor.
And does the winner of this fight interest you as a potential next opponent?
I mean, sure. I don't know if they're in the rankings quite yet, but rankings haven't really meant much to me in general. If the UFC calls me and says this is the name, then that's the name. It's always been like that for me. I've always had to, I've gotten to call out a few people a few times, and it's never actually worked out. So it's I I I just prefer to let the UFC give me a call and we figure it out.
Well, a lightweight fight that is between ranked opponents, Renato Moicano and Benoit Saint Denis. What do you think of that matchup? And does the winner of that fight interest you?
So Benoit Saint Denis, really interesting fight with Poirier because if you look at that first round, he looked better than Makachev. I mean, he was all over Dustin Poirier, but then after that, it was a pretty big drop. That being said, can he pull that off again and keep it going all throughout the entire period of the fight? Because if he can, that's a really dangerous fighter right there. Um, and then Moicano's good everywhere. He can strike, he can grapple, and I know his strength is mostly grappling. So it's it's going to be really interesting to see how they approach each other because is Benoit going to focus more on striking and keeping the fight standing, and Moicano is going to focus more on grappling, or is it going to be kind of a scramble of everything? I'm interested in see what approach they take. In my opinion, I think Moicano would want to implement his takedowns and timing, and Benoit pressure. That's his game. If you got an A game and no one can stop it, stick with your A game. So I would say that's the game right there. I would lean towards Benoit, but you never know.
And one more prediction from you: the expected lightweight title fight, the rematch between Arman Sarukian and Islam Makhachev. Obviously, you fought Arman. Do you think he has what it takes to dethrone Islam?
I think so. I think for Armand to win, he would have to do it earlier, though. I've noticed Makachev is better at energy conservation than Armand, and Arman seems to slow down a lot more. I'm leaning towards Makachev, especially to take over in the later rounds. But if Arman could pull it off, I would expect it to be in the first 3 rounds.
I'm actually going to throw one more in there. Gamrot and Dan Hooker. Not a fight I necessarily expected. Big opportunity for Dan Hooker, but were you surprised with that matchmaking? And who do you think Dan could pull it off?
Um, Anybody with a heartbeat can win, can land and win. The truth is, though, I think Matus has a better chance. I think Matus' style is, his feints and then applying his grappling. Um it's such a hard guy to deal with. I remember after fighting him, just thinking to myself, I know he's tired, but dang, I'm tired too. I was very tired after fighting him, and I know if people can't handle his wrestling, they're going to be exhausted, and I've seen that over and over and over again. I definitely think Gamrot has the advantage in this fight, but Dan Hooker has great knees, has uppercuts, and he's very good at managing the distance. Uh, but I just don't see him beating Gamrot, and I do think it was a kind of out of the left field matchup. You wouldn't expect it, but I also understand that nobody really wants to fight Gamrot. Since nobody wants to fight him, I think that's how Dan Hooker was able to get this opportunity.
Well, Gamrot was one of your best wins. When you look at the landscape at 155 pounds, you fought a lot of the big names, but is there a name in the lightweight rankings or just a name in general that you would absolutely want to fight before it's all said and done?
I think Makachev is on that, and then obviously I want my rematches with the people I've lost. That's the competitor in me. But uh, I think I think I have a style that would be difficult for Makachev. So that's a fight I always wanted. But yeah, there's young guys coming up. You asked me this question in like 6 months to a year from now, my answer might change. But for right now, I would say it's Makachev and the guys I've lost to.
And I'm assuming Poirier because that's a name that you've been in a link to for a while. Are
I,
you
I'm over man Poirier. I don't feel like that fight's ever gonna happen. So just let the man do his thing, whether he's gonna retire or he's gonna keep fighting. I don't want to I don't want to keep saying his name because it's like there's nothing there. So I don't want to even bring him up.
so when do you feel like you can get back in there?
I think October November is what I'm shooting for. Um, Hopefully that's what we pull off.
Has it been hard having to take some time off? I know you're a guy who's always active, always down to fight anybody. So has it been hard to have to like peel back a little bit?
It's been in some ways it's been awful because you got to learn to be a regular person, and I'm not very good at being a regular person. You got to be able to like go do like normal people stuff, take care of your business, and my wife does most of this stuff, so I have to help her, and it's been awful. But then on the other hand, I've been able to coach a lot more. That's been cool. I've enjoyed coaching, watching my guys get better, and then kind of being able to train with them more. Not an ideal situation for training, but I've been able to train with them. But to see my guys come up in the ranks, in the future, you're going to see a lot of guys come out of my gym that people don't know about yet. I got a lot of amateurs and new pros that are just they're fantastic. It's crazy to look at the new generation because I see guys who are 21, 23, 24 years old, and they have all the skills that I have, and I'm 35. Though the only difference is I have a lot more experience, and so that's what keeps me ahead of them. It's going to be really cool to see what's going to happen in MMA in the next couple of years.
Looking forward to it. Well, Beneil, I really appreciate you taking the time and we're looking forward to your return.
Thank you.